Who did you vote for in November?
Trump. First time I ever voted.
First time you ever voted?
I was never even registered to vote before that. When he talked about government employees, we didn't think that was going to be us. I wish I could take it back, because I feel like now my whole livelihood could be changed because of him being president.
Feel pretty lost. I don't know where I'm going to go forward from here. You know, I know the job market's not great right now, and what occurred today across the country is not going to help the job market.
What do you make of the Trump administration's actions?
I thought that he was. I did support him. I was a Trump supporter. You know, when he talks about government waste and all that, yes, I'm behind it. I believe there is a lot of stuff in the government that needs fixing. And that's part of the reason why I actually wanted to work for the government, actually, to help change the things that are wrong in the world, you know. And I thought that someone with like his business acumen would have come in with a fine-tooth comb and actually found it, instead of coming in with a wrecking ball and destroying people's lives for no reason.
There you have it. Trump voter regret part 2. Okay, guys, I'm back with a series of TikTok videos of Trump voters regretting their vote. FAFO. I didn't think the leopards were going to eat my face. I thought just the liberals were going to get fired from the federal government. Well, I'm here to tell you, MAGA, that Trump doesn't care about you. Musk doesn't care about you. All they care about is money. They're sociopaths. So get with the program and get off the Trump train. Here we go. Let's get started with these videos. Okay, here we go with some more MAGA regret.
En Miami hacen protesta en contra del gobernador Ron DeSantis por las leyes que quiere aplicar.
These are a bunch of Cubans in the streets of Miami, Florida, who just found out that when Trump becomes president, he's deporting all of them.
Yeah, and that's not only Cubans, Venezuelans, Haitians, they're all on the chopping block. And I don't think he announced the Cubans yet, but he definitely announced Venezuelans, and he just announced Haitians. And guess what? He's letting white Africans take their place as special protected citizens or whatever it is. Probably because of his butt buddy, Elon Musk, who's a white South African, who are mostly racists. According to Trump and Musk, they're being oppressed in South Africa because they own 80% of the land and they're 7% of the population. But have no fear, Trump's letting you under special protected status, just like the Venezuelans and the Haitians were. So if you're a white South African, it's happy day for you. You got your free ticket to America. If you're Venezuelan, Haitian, or Cuban, or Mexican, or any Latino, basically, you're getting booted out, legal or illegal.
Communist.
This is hate speech.
You're hate speech.
Why? Why am I hate speech?
Because you're grooming children.
I'm grooming children?
I'm voting for Ron DeSantis for president.
Alrighty then.
So this is your standard MAGA Trump supporter. I mean, he's voting for Ron DeSantis, he said. I'm sure he voted for Trump when it all came through the wash. But, you know, they believe that everybody, you know, the Department of Education is grooming children, and kids are going to school as boys and coming home as girls because they're getting trans operations. Look at this guy. He's a grown man. He's 70, 75 years old. He's acting like a little bitch. I just don't understand these people. They're so brainwashed. They're so in the cult. It's just ridiculous.
We voted for you. Why are you doing this to us?
So here's the thing. Billionaires like Trump and Musk and basically the rest of his cabinet and, millionaires like most of Congress, they don't care about national parks. They could go fly off on a vacation wherever they want. National parks are for people who can't afford to go on nice vacations. You could drive off for the weekend, get away from your stressful job. Same thing with Forest Service land, Bureau of Land Management land. You go hunting, fishing, outdoor activities, riding motorcycles, riding snowmobiles. These billionaires and millionaires, they don't care about that. They have their own private ranches where they could do all that stuff if they want to. Trump's kids are off shooting rare ducks in Italy and getting arrested for it. They're like, Trump Jr. is a big game hunter. Basically what that means is he has guides. Like I was a guide for years and not hunting, but other stuff. He has guides take him and show him where game is, and then he shoots it in the head. Ooh, big man. Little Donnie's a big man. Anyway, these Park Service people, the rangers, and the Forest Service rangers, BLM rangers like I am, we do an important function. We protect the land from overuse. We protect it from commercial entities doing illegal things on there, like grazing cattle, so the land is not good. I mean, if you understand ecosystems, if they're overused, you're going to kill everything else. So read the story about the reintroduction to the beavers in Oregon, or I think it was Oregon. But anyway, an ecosystem that had all the beavers killed out for the pelts at the turn of the century or whatever. They were killing beavers for the pelts. The beavers were gone, so the beavers weren't there to make dams. When the beavers make dams, they back up the water. They make little ponds where there's fish. Where the fish are, it brings other animals. It brings other predators in to get the fish, birds to get the fish. The birds drop seeds, plants grow. It brings in the water pond. The ponds bring in, lions and bears to drink, and also mule deer to hunt. So then they hunt the mule deer. They cut down the mule deer populations, which eat all the greenery if you let them get out of control. When they eat all the greenery, nothing grows. The mud runs every time it rains. The land is denuded. There's no animals there eventually. Look it up on the internet. But anyway, this is what rangers and Forest Service people do, and a whole lot of other things. But, they don't understand this, these billionaires. They don't care because they have their own, multi-thousand acre ranches that they go play on whenever they want. They don't care about you, MAGA. They never will. Vote for anybody but Republicans. I'm not saying vote for Democrats. They're a bunch of douchebags too. But vote independent. Vote for Bernie Sanders, candidates like him. If you have a good Democrat, vote for them. Whatever you do, don't vote for the Republicans, because all of Congress right now is beholden to Trump and Musk. They're a bunch of cowards. They're not doing anything to stop them from devastating the economy.
Congratulations, Trump supporters. You got your big win, and no doubt you're gloating we won. But let's be honest, we've all lost. And you're too deep in denial to see it. You've thrown your support behind a recently convicted felon, a twice impeached serial liar and insurrectionist who tried to violently overturn a legitimate election based on lies his own officials confirmed he knew were false. This is a man who incited a deadly riot, an attack he now perverts as a day of love. That's who you're celebrating. A man driven by chaos, cruelty, and an insatiable ego, with no regard for the law he expects everyone else to obey. But cheering on someone like Trump, a man so thin-skinned that he sees enemies in every slight and disobedience in every independent thought, doesn't just put others' rights at risk. You're signing away your own. You're throwing open the gates to a system where there are no rules, only his mercurial whims. With no checks, no balance, and no accountability, his definition of legal or illegal will shift with his moods, just as his idea of who's an enemy or loyalist will depend on whatever serves his vanity in the moment. Just imagine the smallest perceived disobedience, a flash of doubt, even the faintest failure to praise him, could put you on the wrong side of his wrath. And this is the final irony. Our country was built to escape the tyranny of unchecked power, separation of powers and rule of law at its core. We fought for independence to prevent the rule of a king, and yet here you are, cheering for a movement, bringing that very tyranny back. The win you're celebrating is one that shreds the democratic checks that protect us all. Through manipulation, coercion, and relentless ego, Trump's cult of personality will shape a society molded in his own image, a world of sadism, cruelty, and indifference. The pillars of democracy, those protections we once held dear, will crumble. And the twisted reflection staring back at us will be Trump's America, an America of paranoia, vindictiveness, and unchecked power. So take a hard look at what you're truly celebrating, because once the cheers die down and reality sets in, you'll see that winning in this system makes us all just pawns. Your freedom is his to redefine, your rights are his to revoke, and every shred of power you think you have now, it will be gone. You might feel powerful in this moment, but soon enough you'll understand just how powerless this has left us all.
Okay, so this next one, finally, an evangelical that's going to stand up to Trump and not kiss the boots because they want end times or whatever that those crazy nuts down south want, those evangelical Christians. You know, according to them, you know, it's in their interest because they think when Jesus comes back and it's end times, the end of the world, they're all going to be saved and all of us sinners are going to burn in hell for all eternity. So there's people in Congress who believe this, that they currently want this to happen. You know, they're doing things to try to speed this along, you know, like crashing the economy.
And the more he thought about it, the angrier he got and began to demand an apology from Bishop Buddy for having the audacity to ask him to have mercy on people in this land. And then 21 members of the House introduced a resolution condemning Bishop Buddy for asking the president to have mercy. By the way, I feel like this is just an important thing to say. Me talking about this, not a violation of the separation of church and state. I can say whatever I want about the actions of the administration. That is my duty as a Christian pastor. However, the President of the United States and members of the House of Representatives condemning a religious person for saying that someone ought to have mercy is a clear violation of the separation of church and state, because that violates the First Amendment on two different counts: freedom of speech and the free exercise of religion. That's what the separation of church and state is about. It's about ensuring that the government does not interfere with the way that we worship. And we saw that happen this week. The president sat there looking bored.
Well, folks, the Trump honeymoon is over. There's a new report out today that said that consumer confidence in the economy is dropping as people are starting to see the effects of Trump's policies and seeing prices, shocking to nobody, rising instead of going down. And remember, the biggest thing that people voted for Donald Trump was that they wanted lower prices. And he has not announced a single thing that has done anything to drop prices. And in fact, as we've seen with eggs and other things, prices just keep going up. And the reality is he has been president long enough now that he could have announced his big, bold agenda to lower prices. And the reality is he doesn't have one. And that's also why we're starting to see these really rowdy town halls in red districts where people are showing up angry and being like, what are you doing for us? And those Republican members don't really have an answer, because the reality is they are more focused on waging culture wars than actually helping regular everyday people. And that is also why we're starting to see his poll numbers drop. So I think people have now remembered what the first term was like, which was a lot of talk and no action at all, or actions that were hurt the economy and hurt people. We're seeing it again. People don't like it. And I think Trump's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Trump doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about the economy. He's a billionaire. He has no idea what stuff costs. He's never been probably to a grocery store in his whole life. Think about that. Think about if you never had to go shopping for yourself in your whole life. You've always had people doing it for you. You know, remember that one time he said a banana costs like $10 or something like that. He has no idea what stuff costs. He doesn't really know anything about the economy. He has no plan for the economy. He just said that to get back into office so he wouldn't go to prison. His pole's away on the water. If you want to watch a video I did about that, I'll put it right here. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching again. I'm trying to get my channel to blow up big. So like, share, subscribe. See you later.